Hi, my name is Corey. I am from NOTINDOOR magazine, and today we are with Monika Basse on Abbot Kinney Boulevard here in Venice, California. She is the curator of G2 Gallery, and we are here to ask her a few questions about the gallery. How are you today, Monika?
Great, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for letting us come and crash your gallery today. Tell us a little bit about the gallery. How did you come up with the name G2, or the founders?
Sure, absolutely. So the gallery actually opened in 2008, and the owners of the gallery are Dan and Susan Gottlieb. There's two of them, so it's called G2. We are a nature and wildlife photography gallery, and that is what we exhibit, is nature and wildlife photography, showcasing everything from landscapes to wildlife, animals, plants, textures, all kinds of things just to show the beauty of the environment. We also pride ourselves in partnering with a lot of nonprofit organizations that deal with environmental issues and causes. So 100% of our proceeds from our art sales actually go to helping those nonprofits. So, you know, you get to feel good about the art that you buy, and yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the environmental organizations that you support.
So we support organizations such as Greenpeace, Audubon, Earth Justice, Friends of the Bayona Wetlands, and they're all really wonderful environmental causes that we are very proud to donate 100% of our art sales to. And yeah, it's been really wonderful to, you know, just be involved with all of that.
And I was reading up on it. It's over 1.2 million, I think, that you guys have donated. That's absolutely incredible.
Over the last 8 years, yeah, that's about how much we've donated in just art sales alone. So it's really wonderful.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of how one of those organizations would use the funds that you receive to help the environment?
One of the exhibits that we've previously done that benefited a particular cause was called Getting There, a Wildlife Crossing over the 101. And it helped advocate for a wildlife bridge to be built north of the Santa Monica mountain range, you know, by the 101, which just in general helps promote biodiversity and helps preserve, you know, the wildlife of the area. And all the funds from that exhibit actually went to help with that project and bring it to the national conversation.
That is so neat. That's really incredible. Okay, so you are a curator. Most of us know what curators do, but can you explain it to maybe someone that is new to a gallery that doesn't quite know what a curator's job is?
Absolutely. I mean, I think curator is one of those positions that you always hear about, but you don't exactly know what they do day to day. So actually my job does change a lot day to day. So in general, what I do here is I make connections with artists and come up with exhibitions and do portfolio reviews. I've actually gone and done studio visits with some of our artists just to see their work in person, because seeing it digitally, you know, on your computer is very different than when it's printed. If you like look around our room right now, that we have such a wide variety of, you know, displaying. So that's one of the things in my job. There's also just many things that come up all the time. There's the different projects that you have to get involved in. I work with our PR person to help promote our exhibits. We have a graphic designer who I work with to, you know, make all the material for the exhibits. I'm constantly talking with the owners about new exhibits that we want to talk about. There's nonprofits that we'd like to get involved with. You know, certain causes, especially if there is an environmental cause that is, you know, part of the national conversation right now, we want to jumpstart on that and get an exhibit done in regard to those issues. So that's a lot of what I do. Yeah, and day to day, there's just a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of paperwork all the time. There's a lot of emailing, there's a lot of phone calls, and, you know, just working with a wide variety of people, not just artists, but framers and printers and just all around, it's a very involved job.
Sounds like a huge job. If you want to be a curator, you have to be a multitasker, it sounds like.
Yeah.
If I was a photographer and I wanted to make a connection with you, you said, you go to events to make connections. How would I go about doing that?
So we actually have, different galleries do it in different ways. We have what's called a jury application. So if you go on our website, you can download a PDF of the jury app, and you basically fill it out with all your information along with the portfolio, and there's a certain email address that you send it to, and then we review it and see if it's something that we'd like to consider for a future exhibit here at G2. In terms of any advice that I'd have to offer photographers, I would say definitely get your portfolio reviewed by a by anyone really, like a friend or professionally or any in that sort. Because an outside opinion always helps a lot. And I think that also what it does, it helps hone your craft, especially if you don't know what direction to go in. It can help lead into a certain direction. And then another piece of advice that I would give is also probably research the gallery that you're applying to. Because I can't tell you how many times we've had people apply and sometimes it's not even photography, or it's not nature and wildlife photography, which is what we specialize in. And that's just a little,
In terms of portfolio reviews, do you think it's a good idea for photographers to get a second opinion?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's really wonderful to get, a second pair of eyes, especially because if you have a certain vision, for your photography, you're not quite sure how to get there, someone can help you along with that. We've actually done a number of portfolio reviews here at G2. Actually, right behind me, just because he's here, I like to mention John Bozema. He came in a while back to do a portfolio review with G2. And he said that it really helped him immensely in terms of, just kind of figuring out what path he wanted to go down. And, as you can see, he produces beautiful work, and yeah.
Tell me about your last exhibit here at the gallery and how it kind of correlates to the next one you have coming up in 2017.
Yeah, so we actually, 2016 is of course the centennial of the National Park Service. So to celebrate that, we had a 4-part series celebrating different regions of the United States and the different national parks that they feature. So we started with the Northeast, moved to the South, then we were in the Midwest, and our last exhibit of the 4-part series features the West. And we have many wonderful artists that photograph here, and we also have a lot of artists, a lot of national parks in the West as well. So we just decided to fill all 4 rooms of the gallery with photography from these beautiful national parks. And we weren't able to include Alaska and Hawaii in this exhibit because we felt that they are so unique. And we wanted to continue this series, to be honest, and so we kind of siphoned that off and created a new exhibit for 2017 where we feature the national parks of Alaska and Hawaii, and which are 2 of our most remote and vulnerable locations in the United States, which is, I think, a really great way to end the series as a whole and show the national parks of those 2 very different but very exciting states.
2016 was one of your most successful years so far. Can you tell us a little bit about the exhibit that just wrapped?
Absolutely. So we just wrapped the 100 Years of National Parks, the West exhibit, and we've had 64 images in this exhibit and 35 photographers, and we've had 18 sales so far from this exhibit, including this piece behind me right here of Capitol Reef. And yeah, it's been really exciting, actually, that we've been able to donate so much money to our current nonprofit partner, which is the Western National Parks Association, which is one of the many, nonprofits that we work with. And what's really great about this exhibit as well is because it's so large, we are able to accommodate a wide variety of artists, which G2 prides itself on in general. And so we have photographers that are, just emerging, just starting. Some of them have been working for decades, and this is their lifelong career. For some of them, it's, their hobby, and it's really great that this gallery can accommodate photographers from a wide variety of backgrounds.
So if I'm a brand new photographer and I come into your gallery and present you with my work, right, you would be open to looking at it.
I mean,
I'm just starting out.
We prefer to go along with, through the jury application process just because it helps to have a written record of everything. And also, we're busy day to day. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of different projects that we all help each other out with every day. So, you want to be able to give every artist their due attention. And that's just the best way to be able to, really sit down with the work and look at the artist's portfolio.
So definitely go online and apply that
Yeah.
way. Okay. So tell us a little bit about how you select the photographs in your gallery.
So there's a wide variety of steps that we take for selecting photography. For example, for a group show, which is what we do a lot, actually, we do something called a call for submissions, where we send out like an e-blast, we feature it on our website, and just in general, it's a call for submissions. So any artist that we've worked with in the past or anybody who's interested can submit to this exhibit that we want to do. So if, like, for example, we're doing an exhibit for the centennial for the National Park Service, we say, this is the exhibit that we'd like to do. Like, if you have photography from any of the national parks in the continental United States, please submit, and we will consider it for our exhibit. Other ways that we do it is, if there's artists that we worked in the past and that we want to revisit, and we reach out to them and say, like, hey, like, do you have a new portfolio? Would love to see it. Or if there is an environmental issue that's part of the national conversation right now, and we say, like, which artists do we know that, really work a lot with this subject matter, and and sometimes, we have solo exhibitions as well. If there's an artist that we feel like, deserves a little bit more attention. I mean, everybody obviously deserves, to have their chance at the spotlight, but depending on where an artist is in a career, how established their portfolio is, maybe if we want to help an artist along a little bit more, we give them an emerging solo exhibit versus someone who's more established, and we feel like they deserve to have, a bigger solo exhibition. So there's a wide variety of ways that you can exhibit here.
What do you look for in the photos that you choose?
We really look for something that is both beautiful and unique. Personally, I also really like to select shots that feature a thought process behind, the shot. It's not just something where you drive up and you get out of your car and you take a picture of the vista and you go, great, and you get back and drive off. Something that really is composed, is thought out. We have a photographer, for example, who, Shane Walls, who would wake up and would go to the Canyonlands behind you, and he would time the sunrise to like the millisecond, like every day. And then when he finally got up on the last morning, he took the shot right as the sun came up. And so that's something that, for example, where a photographer really takes time with their craft. And I'm not saying that, you need to take 7 hours to take a photograph, but you really want to see that the photographers take their work seriously, and that shows through the way that they handle their photography and everything. And we also prefer shots that are not photoshopped in any kind of way. We allow cropping and color correction. So, if you ever take a picture with your camera and it doesn't look the way it looks in real life, you can correct it so that it looks more like what it does in real life. But we really prefer to have shots that display the natural beauty of the surrounding environment.
Tell us a little bit about the way that the photos are mounted. There's several different ways. Is there a reason for that, or how do you choose the way that you showcase the photos here?
Yeah, so in the large part, I like to leave it up to the artist, especially for a large group show. You can't force everyone to follow a certain format. Also, I wouldn't want to, because then it looks too uniform, and how do you distinguish, what's unique to you, especially as a viewer. You come into an exhibit like this and you see so many beautiful shots. What to you looks great for your living room might not, appeal to somebody else. And so that's what we try to do in our exhibits also, is appeal to a wide demographic. And for some artists, there's certain resources at hand, and they think that their photography displays better in certain ways. Like, for example, a couple of exhibits ago, we had an artist named Jim Derivier, and he does scans of moths, and they're just moths on a black background, and he displays them just like on a matte paper with like no glass and just a simple wood frame around. And like the idea behind that is like if you have the glass, then you see your own reflection in the image, and then he really wants you to get lost in like the blackness and see all the details of the wings because they look so 3D. So there's certain artists have certain reasons for why they want to display things, and I mean the way that you have it here with like without the frame is kind of a more modern way of displaying photography currently. In a lot of ways it's actually a lot more versatile because it fits into both a traditional or a very contemporary home. Some people prefer the white matte and the black frame, and whatever suits them. We try to exemplify that diversity with our exhibits as well.
Okay, so Susan Gottlieb, one of the founders of the G2 Gallery, just came out with a book. This amazing book called The Gottlieb Native Garden, A California Love Story. Can you tell us a little bit about that book?
Absolutely. So this book encompasses 20 years worth of work on the part of Susan, where she has taken her backyard in Beverly Hills and created this urban oasis there, where she has planted all these California native plants. And actually an interesting byproduct of that is that all this wildlife started returning to the backyard as she started doing that. So we have hummingbirds there, like owls, lizards and things. It's really quite an amazing sight, and actually you can see it for yourself if you join. Theater Pain is a nonprofit that we work with, and they do garden tours, and this garden is featured as part of that tour, and it's really quite a sight to see. So we're really excited that she has this book that just came out, and it features lots of beautiful photography, and we thought it would only be appropriate that we do an exhibit about it. At the same time as the Alaska and Hawaii exhibit, we are having the Gottlieb Native Garden exhibit as well, and it's showcasing some of the beautiful photography from her garden. And what she's hoping with the book as well as with the exhibit is that you have visitors come in, read the book, see the exhibit, and they are inspired to do the same thing in their own garden, either their garden, their rooftop, their balcony, in whatever small way that we can help the environment in our own ways can make a huge impact in the environmental landscape of Los Angeles. So, we're just very excited that she's helping push this, as part of the national conversation.
Yeah, and we have Susan to thank for bringing awareness to our community. So the name of the book is The Gottlieb Native Garden, A California Love Story. Can you tell us where we can purchase the book?
Absolutely. So we actually sell it in our own gallery store downstairs. And you can also purchase it on Amazon. It's $50, but 100% of those proceeds go to the Theater Pain Foundation, which is a nonprofit that we work with a lot. So the New York Times actually did a write-up on this garden, and Susan is kind enough to donate a lot of these books to nonprofit organizations in the area. So we're very excited about that as well.
Well, thank you to Susan and everything she's done. Without her, I don't think we would have this fine gallery to visit in Venice. If you liked this interview and you want to learn more about the G2 Gallery, please visit theg2gallery.com. Thank you so much, Monika, for having us.
Thank you.
I learned so much here today, and I'm excited to come back and see what the gallery has in store in 2017. And just remember, amazing things happen when you're not indoor.